Yes, awesome. Great. Cool. Well, that's why you're here, is to learn about the 2x reply rate formula. This is how our sales team and a ton of our clients and other sales teams are using this formula to win more business and close more deals. That's the whole point of this thing, is to help you guys out so you can make more money. Who here wants to make more money? Put money in the chat. Yes, let's go. Awesome. Cool. Well, let's dive right in, and I'm going to break down everything for you. So let me tell you a little bit about me real quick before I go through all the details here. So I've spent the last 10 years in CRM, sales, and automation. I've been a consultant. I've been an entrepreneur. I've helped other people build their businesses, as well as scaling my own companies. I've scaled a SaaS company to 4 million in ARR. We have 30,000 clients. I've co-founded a marketing agency. We grew that to over 1,000 clients. That was a revenue partner business. So we were making a ton of money off of the companies that we helped scale. And I've helped consult sales teams and helped build marketing plans and automation tools, all the stuff that you guys need to work inside your business. And I've used every single platform out there. I've used High Level, Close, Pipedrive, Salesforce, HubSpot. You name it, I've tried that CRM to leverage technology to win more deals. And that's what I want to help out, is kind of share the playbooks and the strategies that I've applied inside these businesses to help you guys put inside your business. It always sucks that I can't see you guys, but basically today, and you've probably experienced this, it's harder and harder to get people's attention, cut through the noise, and get them inside of your sales process, right? Marketing is more expensive than it's ever been. It's been harder to, just get the attention of the consumer, and more consumers are less trusting. There's so many scams out there, especially with AI. You have to think about all the stuff that you did in the past is not going to work in your business today, right? Marketers ruin everything. I know. I've been kicked off of Facebook. I've been kicked off of email platforms. I've been banned from different marketing techniques. I've been suspended from texting campaigns. You name it. I have tried this marketing campaign to take a hack or take a different approach to scaling a business, because you have to be on the cutting edge. You have to always think about what's coming up next and how can I take those tools to apply inside my business so that you could actually scale, right? That is the advantage. If you watch people like Alex Hermosi or Gary Vaynerchuk, they're always looking at what are the trends, what are the latest things that people are doing to grab attention and to convert business. Because if you're that first mover advantage, if you could take advantage of a new platform before anyone else, before the ad cost goes crazy, you get a little bit of that advantage of learning the system first and being able to scale that. And the same thing goes for your sales process and your funnel. All of these traditional funnels, right, that people have been using for a long time to convert ads into business were built to get clicks into your email inbox, right? We all fill out this form. You fill out this long form, then you end up in an email and you end up in some kind of campaign or flow, which is great. Like, this worked. This is how everyone scaled their business before. But in today's age, I want to have you look at your business a little bit differently, to think about what are you doing inside of your business that might have been the old model, and what do you need to do inside your business to take advantage of the new way of business. Every single person out there has a cell phone. They have a computer in their pocket. And this is what we want to do in our business and our funnel. We want to create awareness. We want to generate leads. We want to nurture them and retain this. And all of this stuff is built around automations. If you're using a modern CRM, you should have automations to help you complete a lot of these processes. But there's some problems with automations and the CRMs that are out there today. Some of the problems is funnels, they don't fail because of traffic. They fail because of the conversations that happen, right? So when people hit your funnel and they're not able to convert into business, you have a actual conversation problem, not a conversion problem. And everyone optimizes their funnel and marketing for conversion and not for conversations. And what I mean by that, I was working with a home service business. They did like luxury remodels, replacements, sometimes new construction. And we are spending $50,000 a month on advertising, which was great. It was generating a ton of business. The problem with this is, I'm sorry, it wasn't generating a ton of business. It was generating a ton of leads. The problem with this, when you have so many leads, they were getting 700 to 1,000 leads per month, but they were only closing 5 to 10 deals. So that means they had to sift through all of these leads to find the gold nuggets inside this process. So we had to have a massive marketing team to figure out how we're going to spend this budget properly. We needed a massive conversion team, right? Sales development reps that are calling these leads, seeing who's out there, qualifying them, and then handing them off to a salesperson. And then we had to go through the sales process. So you had to have this entire machine on the front of your end of your business because they weren't optimizing their funnel properly. This costs a lot of time. This costs a lot of money. This could hurt the growth of your business. If anyone's experienced anything like that, put a amen or hell yeah, brother, inside the chat there. Because this is some of the challenges that we had to solve in this business. So me as a consultant, I got to look from outside in and figure out what do we need to do differently so that we are not just optimizing for quantity of leads, but how do we optimize for quality of the leads that are coming through this process? And this is where we have learned this process the hard way, right? Spending thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours trying to figure this out to put it inside this process. And what happens is the majority of your leads actually end up ghosting you, never reply, or just are not qualified. And you only get like 20% of these leads to reply. We were using High Level CRM, which is a great CRM, has a ton of powerful features in there. And in this CRM, we use the automated Twilio or LC phone, which is basically Twilio, to send these messages to get into conversations. And our reply rate on those messages was only 20% if we were lucky in there. And these are, again, people that saw our ad, went through our funnel, filled out a form, raised their hand, and then we messaged them to, either get them our info packet as a lead magnet or get into a conversation to qualify them further to see if scheduling an appointment makes sense. And all of us build our funnel typically this way, right? It's like, how do we capture the lead? How do we qualify them? How do we get them into our sales process? Which is great. This is kind of the structure you need. But the problem is when you have something like this, when people raise their hand and you're not optimizing for conversation and you're optimizing to try and get them through your funnel, you're going to have a ton of drop off. And that drop off is real dollars. So if you are spending money on ads, you know that the cost of ads is going up and the ability to convert the ads is getting harder and harder. And this is what we want to solve for. So it's not your fault. This is just how all the other gurus, all the other systems are kind of built, is in this model where you're having to massively spend tons of time and energy to sift through the people to try and find the right deals in here. And again, I'm going to break this all down, show you what we did to solve these issues so you could potentially take this and put it inside your business as well. So this is how we want to think about the funnel differently, right? Instead of optimizing it to get through and get them into our sales processes, how do we optimize this on a conversation first basis? I think this is going to be more important as AI comes into sales. AI is great. Don't get me wrong. AI is awesome. There's a lot of great features in there, but who wants to actually talk to a bot? Who wants to talk to some automated phone call and respond to them? I don't. But I also don't want to manage a person and have to deal with all the headache that comes with that person, right? But if you're optimizing your sales process of converting leads into conversations, it's a whole different experience. I don't have to push them through a process. I just get them engaged in a conversation. And tell me if I'm wrong, but text is by far the best mode of communicating, right? I rather get a text message of something important than get an email. Email is where communication goes to die. Most inboxes are filtered out and it's hard to communicate and they end up in spam folders. I know I've tried to build email marketing systems. I've tried to build phone calling systems. I've tried to build all this stuff. And when you're in a sales conversation, text message is the best way to communicate with your leads, besides getting them on the phone. But again, most people aren't answering the phone these days. And I'll explain a little bit about that when we talk about compliance here and what you need to do. So these leads don't want to be nurtured. They want to, this person again, raise their hand. They want to find out, how can you help them? How can you solve their problem? And is it worth their time and energy? And again, if you're in the mortgage space, this is pretty easy to understand, or financial services, right? These people are looking for a potential mortgage. They're looking for financial help, right? They have some kind of need. Your job is to just qualify them, see if you could get them to know, like, and trust you so you can move forward in that process. Let's see, what are the other businesses that were in here as well? Marketing, mortgage. All right, cool. So again, how do you nurture your leads differently? Our thought process behind this is create awareness, get them to engage with your content, and then go straight into a conversation, right? Because this conversation will tell you one of two things. Do I want to convert this person into an appointment, right? Qualify them quickly. And then I want to retain them as a customer. And again, if I'm able to text my customers the proper way and avoid compliance, you're able to get more done. Yep, automation businesses, we work with them as well. Tax prep services, that's awesome. Tax Revolution. See, you guys offer great services to help people. And if you are good at what you do, what I want to do is empower you so you can help more people. And when you help more people, you will in turn make more money because of the quality of service that you have. But again, looking at the past of what we're doing now, looks something like this. And this is what we're experiencing in this home service business, right? So the lead hits our process. We want to text them because, again, that's the best form of communication. But when we send that message, it looks like this, especially if they're on an iPhone, right? Obviously, if they're on Android, they can control the colors. But most customers, this is just the nature of Apple, are on an iPhone. It's something like 60 to 70% of consumers in the US market are an Apple user, right? They have a massive market share. There are Android users out there, but typically the Android users might be a little bit younger, right? Because they're using these younger devices. Maybe they're a cheaper Apple or Android device. I mean, there's obviously some flagship devices, but the fact is the majority of the people, the adult population, the consumers, the customers you want, 70% of them are most likely going to have an Apple device. And because we work with hundreds of businesses and send literally thousands of messages per day, our system flags whether it's an Android or non-Apple device or an Apple device. So we get to see this data, and that rings true. It's like 64 to 75% of these customers are using Apple devices. And when your first message from your funnel looks like this to an Apple user, which is a giant brick message that's green, that has stop and opt out language, this stuff gets ignored. These consumers these days, they're not stupid. They know that their dentist office, their appointment reminder, the credit card company, their subscription are all using Twilio or a service like Twilio to send these automated messages. And when your automated messages look like this, you're a financial planner, you're a mortgage, you're a real person with a real service and a real business, but you're looking like an automation, you are going to get ignored. And this, before anything else, is what is costing you thousands of dollars. And you might be banging your head against the wall, thinking it's your ad creatives, thinking it's your sales process, thinking it's the software, the technology that you're using in the back end, when really what it is how you're communicating with your leads to get them to convert. Yeah, the stop and opt out language kills your business. And I get it. There are spammers out there. And so the carriers banded together and created something called A2P 10DLC. This is a new layer on the TCPA regulation, which required you to get the opt-in from the user and required you to put the opt-out message inside your message. And now you look like a spammer and you look like every other automated message tool. How many of you guys on this call are iPhone users? Just put yes if you are, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Yep, because if you pull out your phone and you look at the messages, you know, because you're getting these messages from other businesses, it looks like this. So imagine you're a mortgage loan officer, you're the financial service, a tax advisor. You help real people solve real problems, and you're sending this message. This does not convey trust. This does not convey, I'm here to help you and solve your problem. This conveys, I don't care about you. Here's my automated tool. Deal with that. And I know if you're a smart business owner, this is not the message you want to be sending. So imagine you sent something like this to your user, a blue message that's short that actually looks like a friend or family member sent them. Let me ask you, what is better? Would you rather receive message 1 or message 2? Just put message 1 or message 2 if you rather receive message 1 or message 2. I would bet most people on this call and most of your customers want to receive message 2. And I know it sounds crazy that just changing one message could change so much inside your business. But sorry, that the numbers don't lie. 67% of customers associate green messages with automation and spam because iMessage does this to their users. I don't know if they did this as a convenient or to sell more iPhones, but changing the message color and then you having the automations, you look like spam. So when people send iMessage, most of the time, that's all they change, right? So say we get a new customer and they are a mortgage loan officer, a financial service, tax advisor, whatever. They get our service and they just think, great, I'm going to send blue messages. My business is going to improve. Everything's going to be hunky-dory. And they don't change any of their messaging. They don't change any of the text in their communication. They leave everything the same, but it sends to us. That's good, right? Because now you're sending a blue message and it's not green anymore. And it doesn't require the opt-out language, but it's only half of the battle. Changing the blue message, because again, look at this giant brick message. This looks like a breakup text from an angry girlfriend. No one wants to receive this message that I gotta stop what I'm doing, read this, process this, and respond to this. This is spending a lot of calories for your customer. And if you're doing this inside your business, this hurts you. A lot of customers that come to us, we have to educate them on their sales process. And this is a little bit of what we educate them on. We go obviously deeper with our customers in analyzing their funnel and everything, but we're looking at how they're actually communicating with their leads, what they're saying, how they're saying it, and what the end user, their customer experience is like. Because again, guys, trust me, do not give this experience to your customers. Because even though it's blue, let's say you did a good job and you switched to a blue message instead of green message, but you didn't change the copy, the actual message content inside it, you're not going to have that much of a response. It'll be an increase, but it's not going to be a massive increase. What you want with your messaging when you change your copy, change your conversation and your flow for conversation first, is you want a 60 and 80% reply rate. So again, you did half the work because you don't look like a bot anymore, which is awesome. But you still look like an automated message because you sent this giant brick message with text in there and a link and emojis, and you sent it super fast. So you're still going to be associated as a bot. Where's this data from? Sorry, I don't mean to sound like a pain in the so this is data that we've collected, and this is data that I did on some research. So if you go into like Perplexity, which is a great tool to do any kind of research, you could ask some of these marketing questions and they'll spit out a ton of data for you. And I could cite this for you if you want. And then a lot of this is coming through our trial and error and the hundreds of customers that we've done this with. So taking your automation, and we track every single reply rate. So if a customer is working with us, not to derail what I'm talking about, we could share these reply rates and give you all of the strategies of what you need to do to analyze your process and increase your conversation rate. Because obviously on this call, I can't go through each one of your guys' funnel and each one of your messages and explain what you need to do differently. But this stuff makes a difference. So look at the right and look at the left. Look at number 1 and look at number 2 from the messages here. Which one would you rather receive? Hopefully you guys say number 2 is what you guys rather receive because it's more conversational. So if you're using these tools to create automations and you want to send a blue message to your customer, which is awesome, But if you still act and treat it like a bot system, you're still going to get bot-like results. You're not going to get the experience that you want. And what you guys want is to convert more conversations into customers. And the way you do that is your approach that you take. Because if I'm sending someone a message from my cell phone, I'm not going to go spend the time to write this long brick message, copy and paste a link in there and send it. And it's going to take me a little bit to think about what they messaged me and how I'm going to respond to that. And if you have your automation tool to blast a message 1 minute after that lead comes in, that is, again, these customers are smart. They understand this. They get these messages every single day. You are going to look and feel like an automation and a bot, and that's not what you want to do. And so I'll tie this to what you were saying earlier. So this is talking to actual customers and learning from the experience. Because I have this helicopter view of tons of different businesses across tons of different niches of what they're doing, they all do the same stuff: marketing through a sales process, through a conversion. And what we found is people would change their offer and it would help out a little bit. They change some of the copy on their website and their funnel, and it would help out a little bit. But I was watching a video, and you guys are probably in the same algorithm similar to mine, and you saw Alex Hermosi come on and say, like, hey, he just handed an iPhone to his salespeople and had them text some of their leads that ghosted them, and they were getting replies. So what did I do? I ran out and got iPhones for our sales team for this SaaS company and said, hey guys, like, the automation is great, but go ahead and text your leads this way. And so they had to go and manually text their leads. And they're like, man, we're getting more replies. We're getting more conversations with people because it's on a phone, going directly to a phone. It looks like a human to human engagement, which is awesome. But here is the problem. As a sales manager or leader inside the business, I now have to have them carry 2 phones, which not everyone likes to do. I can't see what they're messaging my customers, right? If I'm paying money for these leads, I can't see what they're messaging. I got to trust that they are replying. If this person leaves, quits, goes on vacation, I can't get that phone back to jump into those conversations. So there was a lot of challenges with this. Yes, it increased our conversation rate, but it left still a lot of holes in the process that needed to be solved inside this business. So again, it opened up a whole new opportunity for it. And the customers appreciated this. And this works in B2B. This works in B2C. Doesn't matter. The consumers that are using iPhones want to engage with your business differently. Trust me. And so this is the case study of this SaaS company that we're working with. They're getting the replies from their CRM. They're getting like a 16% reply rate. And all I did is look at messages sent, messages received to calculate that because there wasn't a lot of data. When they were able to switch to our platform, they're getting this 70% inside, all good, 70% reply rate from their leads. And a home service agency going from 8%, because they just had bad messaging altogether and a bad process, to 59%. So imagine right now you're getting 10% and you go to 30%. That's a 3x increase on your replies inside your business. And again, more conversations lead to more conversions lead to more money. And a med spa. And again, med spa was getting 21%, not bad, because these people, had a medical need. They trusted these people and went through the process, but it still looked like bot. And getting 50% means a lot more money inside your pocket. And hopefully that's what you're here for, is because you want to make more money inside your pocket. So why does this actually matter, right? If your messages are getting ignored and cost you real money, well, you're wasting opportunity. You're literally lighting money on fire if you don't want to have the best conversion possible. And when people solve this, because I think a lot of you guys, being a mortgage, financial, tax, you guys are probably smaller businesses, right? You don't have a team of 20 people. Am I right? Put how many people you have on your team, just a number in the chat here, just so I get an idea. Yeah. So typically the customers that we're working with are somewhere between 1, 5, maybe 10 people inside their business to help them scale. Obviously, we have some enterprise customers, but the majority of businesses can benefit from something like this. 15, that's awesome, Joe. And right now, if you're spending more money and you're wasting money, this means you are killing the speed of growth that you have inside your company. And who doesn't want to grow faster? Put yes if you want to grow your business faster inside the chat here. You should want to grow your business faster. Absolutely. And your traffic is already mobile. So again, you could just do some searches on this, but 80% of Meta's traffic is on a cell phone. And again, if 80% of their 98% of their traffic is on a cell phone, who goes on Instagram on their computer? Like no one goes on Instagram. There's some tablet usage, but it's maybe a mobile device is where people are on these social media. So if you're using social media to try and attract business, which most businesses are because they're pretty powerful platforms, and you're not mobile first in your conversion process, you're missing the boat, right? We do all do this, right? We sit in front of the computer, we design our website, we design our funnel, we design our process, and then we don't test it. And then we push it through a mobile device and it looks like garbage, hot trash garbage. And we literally shoot ourselves in the foot because our consumers want to engage with you on a mobile device. And this is where I want to help you guys change that framework of thinking mobile first. This is where the conversation starts. Your funnel should start there too. And again, if you don't have a phone, you can't send a bubble, you get no deal. And what I mean by that is, what's the very first thing you guys are asking for in your funnel? Probably your name, right? You want to get the customer's name. What's the next thing you ask for? Phone number, email, maybe some qualifiers. All of these things are calories and friction for your conversion. Imagine if your business was just name and email and you're able to start a conversation with these potential leads. I could get name and phone number, my bad. I could get the email later. I could start a conversation with someone with just a name and a phone number, and I could start asking them questions and engaging with my business. Then if I want to schedule an appointment with them, I could collect their email from them. But if you have just their name and their phone number, you could start the conversation. This conversion, just changing that inside your business could be a 10 or 20% increase on conversion. Because I should have put the data in here, but I was searching out funnel friction, and every single part of your funnel or field on a form adds friction and decreases the amount of conversion. So if I'm spending thousands of dollars to throw money and get leads into a business, I want the least amount of friction inside of my funnel. So think about what you're asking your customers now. Are you asking multiple forms? Are you asking them to fill some up? Do you have a tool on there that tells you how many people drop off on that form? I bet you don't. And if you do, that's awesome. But imagine if it was just name and phone number and you're able to start that conversation, what that would look like. What if we don't have an opt-in for them? Can we get a text option? Yes, there is some text options out there. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time going through too many of the weeds, but yeah, I could address that for you, Joe, here in a little bit. So this process works anywhere conversations are used to close deals, which means if you are doing business with a human and you has some kind of human energy to close this person, this process works. And where this doesn't work, maybe I'm selling novelty mugs off my website in some kind of e-commerce business. I don't know how many people are going to chat and engage with you to buy some $8 mug off of your website. So that might not be a good use case for this kind of technology in there. But if you're a software business, an agency, telemed, real estate, fintech, local services, high ticket coaching, or if you're a business that is restricted by A2P, and if A2P sounds like, something you've never heard of before, welcome to the modern era and welcome to 3 years of trying to do business. A2P niches, there's a lot of cannabis businesses that can't send text messages because it violates terms of service inside of Twilio. And there's some weird edge case businesses, firearms, things like that. Or they've don't understand the compliance hoops that you have to jump through and you're not able to get your A2P approved, right? Because of the regulation. This is where this works. An iMessage is not a text message. It is actually a chat platform. So it falls in this gray area of A2P where you could send messages to your iPhone users and you don't need to go through the A2P process. Just like if you bought a cell phone and sent a text message to these users. you don't have to go through that process. So it allows to remove parts of the friction for you, which is brain damage and things that are holding you back so that you could do more. And then again, if I'm having conversations with real people, I want to treat them like real people. And this is where, if you're using a system like this, you could use other modalities to communicate, not just text. I could send them a GIF if someone hasn't replied to me, right? Like, hey, where you at? Like, what's going on? Hey, I didn't hear back from you when they said they needed to. Or I could record a voice memo. I could put a video message in there. These are other things that unlock tools to create more conversations, to have more conversion, to get more human engagement from your leads and personalize your message. And this is really powerful when you use it properly. So again, if a customer comes on and they're trying to use all these tools at once in an automation and done right, it's still going to fall short, right? You have to be strategic about what message you're sending, when you're sending it to the particular person. And that's what we go through with you. And this is where the compliance has killed the process. Like I said earlier, marketers they just ruin everything, right? Especially with AI coming in, sending more AI automation text messages, the AI calling. All this regulation is put in place to stop these spammers and stop these AI systems because they're trying to use these tools, which aren't made for marketing, right? So like, who would love to just buy a list of leads and then text each one of them to convert them into business? I would love if those days existed, but those days are long gone. You can't do that anymore, right? The regulators will catch up to you, will come down on you, or the carriers will just shut you down. So you have to think about other ways to generate business. And this is why conversation first funnels are so important, because all of the money, time, and energy it takes to get those marketing people into your funnel, you better be damn sure you're going to convert that business, because it costs so much for you if you're not able to convert that business. Who here loves regulation? Put love if you love regulation. No, we don't. We don't hate regulation, right? This kills some of the conversion process, right? Regulation is great because it makes you more trustworthy and helps protect the integrity of business. But hopefully everyone on here is not a spammer and you don't have some kind of scam offer in there. You have a real offer to real people, and that's what you want to solve for. So usually when people come on with us, we want to boost your reply rates and get you more conversations. And the idea behind this is setting up this process. Again, if you switch just to iMessage, that's going to have some increase, but it typically is nothing crazy, right? And then we got to change your messaging and change the copy that you're sending to these people and change the cadence of your flow of the messaging. And each one of these little unlocks that we're doing inside your business just makes your ads and your conversations and your sales process more and more focused on conversion. And it allows you, as you get better at this, you're increasing the reply rate that you get. And our goal when working with a business is get you above 50% reply rate. So imagine if 50% of your leads were engaging in a conversation so you can move them through the sales process. That is a true unlock inside your business if you're able to do that. And this is where I'm going to answer all you guys' question. Your team doesn't need to learn anything different. Most of the time we can plug directly into your CRM. We have a plugin in Go High Level, Close CRM, HubSpot, and then we have a separate web application that you could use with our platform, and Zapier to integrate with any tool that you want to. But again, we also provide a sub account inside of Go High Level as needed for any of the users. So this is super powerful because your sales team doesn't need to learn anything different. They could plug directly into this and keep using it. And if your leads are Android users, because some people are still Android, it has SMS fallback. So it'll still send a text message. And our platform uses something called RCS messages. So you could still send pictures, videos, and voice memos even to an Android user, as long as they have RCS on there. If they don't, then obviously the attachment will go and the SMS still go through. Yes, your AI could respond directly using our platform as well if you're using a Go High Level user. So someone asked in the chat if they're using Go High Level. Obviously, you could just reply to people as normal, but maybe you have a bot, an AI bot, because AI is super powerful. You could switch us to your dedicated message provider inside a high level, and your bot will send that as well. Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Is it compliant? Yes, 100%. Because iMessage is a chat system, it's peer to peer, phone to phone. You don't need to register. You don't need to put opt out language. I would still recommend putting the checkbox for opt in on your funnel, just in case any compliance sees your frontline offer. And that way you could send the text message, you're good to go. If you're not technical, no worries. This is why tomorrow we blocked out a time to do a workshop, because any new users that want to sign up now and take advantage of this deal, we're going to get you into the workshop if you want to speed launch you through this process, where we're not only going to set up your device, help integrate and install our plugin in your CRM, get your lines activated, but then also start auditing the process so that you are able to message right away so you could get better reply rates. And what if my offer is already converting? That's awesome. This is like, Ozempic to losing weight then. You're just going to be put on steroids for your business so you could convert more. And does this work for marketing outreach? No, this is for sales conversations. So someone asked earlier in the chat, can you send it to someone who has an opt-in? Yes, you can. But Apple still prevents you from blasting mass messaging out there to someone that doesn't know you. So this is super powerful for still having that opt-in, that conversation first, and getting the conversion. If you're trying to use this for outreach, like we had, for example, a wholesaler who, real estate wholesaler, if you're not familiar, they download lists and they contact homeowners to make them offers to buy their home. He was trying to upload a list and blast thousands of homeowners. Hey, I want to buy your home. That doesn't work for this. There are other strategies that we'll share with them to get the conversion, but you can't use this to blanket blast your customers. Workflow Builder, our automation templates, our support, and our funnel and training and workshops to help you guys get the conversion. So even if you have past customers that you need to onboard in this, we'll create a strategy and a plan to push them through this process with you if you're trying to get more repeat business. If we had 1,000 opt-in clients that wanted to talk to us every day, Rob, just message me outside of this about your use case, and we'll chat about what that looks like. Because I don't know what it may. I don't know if this is like a coaching program, or I don't know what the offer is, but more than happy to talk to you. So guys, thanks so much for showing up. I hope this is helpful. Just think about your guys' business differently. Look at what the message you're sending is, what your conversion process is, what your funnel process is, and how do you increase this so that you don't have the silent majority of your leads going cold and going dead. I look forward to working with you guys. So if you signed up, I'm going to have my team reach out to go through our setup process and get you guys dialed in. And yeah, thanks so much. Hopefully this is helpful. We'll see you on the next one.